Alright, so let's hop right in. So I'm going to show you what skills to take, and I'm going to talk about like the reasons why you'd want to take them. Now, this is the regular tab you will be going to use, except for summoners. If you're fighting a summoner, you'll want to use this one to get away from their grab or pin. Sometimes against the Force Master if you're really high. Your focused fighting spirit, never switching it to anything else because it's the core of your burst. 2 points into your jump, which is like kind of optional, but I really like to take it if I'm in high range and I need to chase. Smite can be either the knock-up tree for buying time for your cooldowns, etc., and continuing your combos, or on this tree to continue your Searing Palm. Your Cyclone Kick is stage 2 tier 3, the PvP version. Iron Shoulder is a 3-second daze, a really long daze that you are going to use very often because the bots will keep on hitting into your block. Your counter on Elbow Smash. The reason you'd want it on Elbow Smash is because on normal counter, after a certain floor, the bots will start countering your block with block cancelling abilities. Your 2, you either 8. I like to take Tiger Strike, but I've seen people do more like wind kind of play with this one. Oh no, with this one, sorry. It is, you know, a wind basic, but I like to take this one instead. Then, Shin Kick, obviously. No points into your Pivot Kick yet. Well, until we have elemental damage at least. Comet Strike, you can do it 2 ways. If you feel like you have a really good ping and you feel like you have really good any cancelling, you can use this Comet Strike, which is the 2 cast, which should be 4 RF, 4 RF. I myself use this one because it's much faster cast and you don't really rely on CC to land it that much. 4 points down your LMB. This is like optional. Some people take this one as well because the focus is really nice. Your Avenging Fist on knockdown and approaches enemy. Against Force Master, you might want to switch this one to tier 3 stage 2, simply because to move to them while on ice. Your triple kick should be either on Firestorm or normal one. Obviously, no damage, just don't do it, it's a suicide. I personally don't spend any points into triple kick right now because I don't really have any points to spend. I'm only Hong Moon 10. Let's get back. 3 points into your Q, like always. I use Hong Moon Z with a stun. The Daze one is also fine, but they're going to get out of it. Searing Palm, middle tree, until we have elemental damage. Probably Flame will be more damage than Wind, but I take this now because it lasts longer. Your C on Daze, obviously. Your V on 1 second longer stun. And that's it for the build. Really, that's all the build there is. Normally you will switch some abilities around when fighting certain matchups. For example, maybe instead of Flying Slam you'll take a AoE triple kick, Firestorm kick I mean, against a summoner just to stun the cat as well. Or if you need to catch him off guard, etc. Now, let's get into the gear. Normally people have lots of versions about the gear you need and what you should use, what attack power you need. Like some people will say you need 70,000 attack power and 11 million defense. It's not true though. What you need mostly in Tower of Infinity is more like class dependent. As a KFM, you will need not so much critical defense simply because your opponent won't be landing too many hits on you. So it's more like a core for survival kind of thing instead of like over long time boxing. Because as a KFM, you're not really gonna box, you know. Ironically enough. Your attack power, I personally recommend a weapon with a 20% Comet Strike damage increase. So like even True Breeze is fine, truly. I've started Infinity Tower. The first time I ranked in top 30 I was with True Breeze. Piercing is a stat people are underlooking most of the time. Piercing is very important in hitting hard in the higher floors because the enemies have higher defense. Accuracy should be at 120%. Critical rate is also, you know, it's a very difficult to talk about stat because it's kind of RNG-ish, right? Sometimes you will get a higher crit rate, but as KFM you will have your burst from Searing Palm, so critical rate doesn't really matter in that situation. Critical damage at 204%. Keep in mind, most of my accessories are not even like that high grade, so my critical chance is not even that high. Now, HP doesn't really matter. You can use a pet or you don't have to. Defense is like 50-50 also. It's not like super needed, but it's nice to have. Block, evasion is just like... It's just like looking for luck, you know? It's like trying to dig gold. If you get it, you will. If you don't, you don't. So it's not really a stat you should be looking into. So the stats you should be focusing on is piercing, accuracy, and critical, because these are the stats that will really win or lose you your matches. What I use is I use 3 piece of sparring, 3 piece of challenger, and 2 piece of Noxon. Keep in mind, my pieces are kind of screwy. They're not at all top because I'm just really poor, as you can see, and don't really invest my money into it. But I have only 3 pieces with critical defense on them. My 8, my 6, and my 5. Everything else, as you can see, there's no critical defense on them. Instead, I have critical on here, piercing on here, accuracy yet again, and critical. Because I really have like low critical chance because of my gear. But normally you will look around like 50% crit rate for Tower of Infinity, because critical defense will reduce that crit. That is also really, really important. Now, the starters, I recommend using like Oathbreaker instead of Ashura, because the PvP crit rate goes really low without this, right? It goes to 42%. That's like really low. So I just use this one because, you know, the PvP Soul Shield will never have crit rate like PvE one. Now the way if you're like just starting out and you're trying to get a new Soul Shield with critical defense, the best way is probably getting Labyrinth 2, 4, 8 or 4, 6, 8 as a basis. The Moonwater Soul Shield primers for critical defense are fairly cheap, so you'll get cheap critical defense with a lot of health. Just everything else, just fill it up with Noxon. You don't even need like too much critical defense. As you can see, I use only 1,500 myself with 3 pieces infused only. So as you can tell, it's not really that important of a stat as long as you're not going to open world PvP. Keep in mind that critical defense Soul Shield for Tower of Infinity and open world PvP are 2 separate things and should not be mixed together, because in open world you will require a lot more critical defense and survivability than in Tower of Infinity.